Today we're starting a whole new chapter. It's still a little bit of graphing, but I guarantee you're going to love this chapter. For the past 5 years, my students have always said, hey, that's the easiest chapter. But there is one thing that, and I like teaching this chapter for a lot of different reasons, but there is one thing that my students and I have in the past have not liked. It's too short. We'll get through it pretty quickly. There's only 6 lessons in it. But before you get writing, this whole chapter 7 is on something called transformations. And what transformations are is just we're going to move figures. So entire shapes, we're going to move them or change them. Move or change, I should say. The first example of that Yeah, you can use these to flip, right? The main thought goes in the... That's okay. That's all. No, that's fine. First one we're going to do is called a translation. This is the first example of the different kinds of transformations that we're going to do. They're all going to be transformations. We're going to translate, we're going to rotate, we're going to dilate, we're going to reflect. Dilations? Yeah, we'll do that towards the end. I think that's the last lesson in this chapter. But this one, specifically our first kind, is called a translation. Now what you may want to do in your notes is just look and find, and I've seen this before in other Cornell note-taking suggestions, you just take like the bold, the words in bold or that are highlighted to save yourself. You do not have to copy this word for word. You can if you want, but you do not have to. Okay. This is the first one is called a translation. Another name for this, slide, because that's what happens. The shapes just slide from one point in the coordinate plane to the other. A translation or slide of a figure produces a new figure, and this is important, exactly like the original. They should be exactly the same size, exactly the same shape, exactly the same angle measures, everything with a translation. If you start, and you'll see this in a minute, if you start with a triangle and end up with a parallelogram, you goofed somewhere. The new figure is called the image of the original figure, and the original figure is called the preimage. To me, it's kind of counterintuitive when I see something, hey, that's the image, and the other one should be like the post image or something. But that's not the way it works. It's called a preimage, and an image is the one after it gets manipulated, moved, translated, rotated. In this case, it's translation. So you'll have your original figure, which is called the preimage, and then after the translation, it's called the image. Yes, ma'am? I would. That's a very important point. Yeah, and I'm going to write that down there in a minute. A move like this is called a transformation of a figure, but we know that. Transformation, they're all transformations. One thing we have to note for when we get into the graphs, the preimage looks like this. Whatever the shape is, we're labeled with letters, like that, triangle ABC. The image, after it's been moved, would look like this, and labeled this way. What's different? Has little tick marks, right? That's so. But when I call this, when I talk about the image, I say that this is triangle A prime, B prime, and C prime. So you take the letters and add the word prime behind it. So A prime, B prime, C prime. That's how you can tell the difference on the graph between the two. The preimage has just the letters. The image has the letters and the little tilde mark, so it's called prime. Now somebody asked a question, hey, down in the summary section, would it be a good idea to talk about how the image and the preimage should be exactly the same? I would say so. Not all of them will be this way, but with a translation. Image and preimage are exactly the same. Exactly. If you start off with a scalene triangle, meaning all three sides are different, you end up with an isosceles, you goofed. That's the check on this. They should look identical, just be in different places on the graph. You're going to do two things tonight in your homework. This is the first thing you'll do. Notice, I've been given, graph the image of triangle ABC with these given vertices. Now here is the math computation skill you will have to do today. You ready? What I'm going to do is I'm going to graph this, and then under a translation I'm going to move it 7 units up and 3 units left. How would I do that? Yeah, by doing what? Counting. That's the computation skill you have to have for today. You should be good at it. You are expected to be able to do that by the time you got to kindergarten. I doubt you will be counting above 10. So that's something you've been doing. Yeah, and he's what? 4? 2. Okay, yeah, he's 2. He's advanced. All right, so A is at 1, -4. I go over 1 and down 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, notice on your graph paper you have 2 coordinate planes, right? That's to save on paper. My slides don't cost anything to have extra, so I will only have 1 coordinate plane per page, but you can fit 2. That way, two of my pages is like one of yours in notes. Save you space also in your notebook. All right. So this is A. I'm sorry? I would recommend it, yeah, but so you have examples to refer back to. Over 1, down 4. Right? It's at 1, -4, it says right here. B is at 2, -2, so that's 1, 2, and down 1, 2. There's B. C is at 5, -3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1, 2, 3. There's C. So there's my triangle ABC. It's a scalene triangle. What I want to have now is a new triangle. And what's that new triangle going to be? A prime, B prime, C prime. Same letters. I just use the little. So what am I going to do? From each one of these points, what will I do? That's right. 3 over where? Left. Now, you can't just use the word over. It has to be left, right. Okay? I'm going to go up 7 and over 3. Could I go over 3 to the left and then up 7? Yes, you can go in any order. Doesn't matter. Just be careful. Do the same thing each time. Otherwise, you will could make a mistake. So I'm going to start at A. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then left 1, 2, 3. There's A prime. Yeah, you write just the little mark, not the word prime. Just put the little tilde mark up there. Well, it's not technically a tilde. It's just a little slash. B up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's B prime and C prime. Notice I'm just doing the same thing 3 times because it's a triangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. There's C prime. It should, when I'm done, it should look just like it. Okay, look at those 2 triangles. Do they look identical? Do they look congruent? Yes. So on yours, after you translate it, slide it up 7 and 3 to the left. Your new triangle, the y-axis should go through it. What's that? Off what? Oh, right, right. Also, yeah. You wouldn't. No. But unless you're like way off, I mean, ultimately your question is, if I make a mistake on my pre-image on the test, and my post? Are you going to mark it wrong? Is that your question? You wouldn't. But on the test, they give you the pre-image already drawn. So you don't have to worry about it. How's that? Okay? Did I answer your question? I know. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I hope so. Graph the image of parallelogram ABCD with vertices. What's different about this one? It's a parallelogram for one, so you're going to have 4 coordinates. But what else? How am I moving this? So after I see what I'm going to graph, the first thing I check is I underlined what my movement is going to be, what my translation is going to be. What am I moving in this one? Nope. That's why I did that. This one's 6 left and 4 up. They changed it. I did left. Now, could I go, what you will always see me do is I will always go up or down first and then left or right, because I'm just used to that from graphing for slope of a line. But you could go 6 left and then go the 4 up. All right, A, B, C, D. A is at 1, negative 4, over 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4. There's A. B is at 2, negative 2, here. C is at 5, negative 2. And D is at 4, negative 4. 4. There's my parallelogram. A, B, C, D. Now, to get to parallelogram A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, I'm going to count. I'm going to go up 4 and then left 6 from each coordinate. From A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is A prime. B prime. You can. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. It does not matter which order or which way you go. You can go up and then left or left and then up. Doesn't matter. In any order. You should end up at the same spot. Like I just said, you will always see me go up or down first and then left or right. I don't know why, it's just what I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it, there's B prime. Is it important though to keep straight which way you're going and how many spaces? Yeah. It's easy to invert up 6 and then left 4. So just be consistent on what you do. What's the matter? Oh, okay. Just get caught up with this one. And, okay. And then I can go back in the notes. C prime, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And D prime, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. D prime. I went up 1, 2, 3, 4 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did the same thing for each. Oh yes, A is 1, negative 4. That's the location of that coordinate. And they're right here. Now let's say you miss something in the notes during the course of the class. If you have internet access at home, you can go home, right-click the notes, and just finish copying them. Or you could go to the library, access my website, go to that date, the lesson number, under the notes, which is on the same page as the homework, just double-click that link, and the notes will come up in Adobe Acrobat, and it'll look just like this. And so if you miss something, you could fill it in. If you're absent, you could do the same thing, which you're going to do, because you'll still be held responsible for those notes when I check your notebook. Yes, sir. Could you print them out? It's not as effective. I suppose you could. All right. Here's the other thing you'll have to do tonight. What's different about this? Now, the ones you'll get tonight will not have the coordinates on here. This is just so that you know where to graph them on your coordinate plane. Yes. Right. This is just for your notes, though. Because last period, somebody in the back said, I can't see where they are. So I gave you the coordinates just so that you could graph it more quickly. What? Yeah, so we're going to come up with the rule. What does that mean? That's all you got to do. So here you've been given the original, the preimage, and the image, right? This is the image. This is the preimage. Oh, nope, backwards. This is the preimage. This is the image. Now here's what you have to do. Pick the same letter. Go from R to R prime, or S to S prime, or T to T prime, and you're just going to count how many up or down, how many left or right. You should do it for 2 coordinates, though. If you do it for 1, if you made a mistake counting, then you've made your mistake. If you do it for 2 and you get the same thing, at least you're being consistent. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the other one we did, it said, up 7/3.
Yeah, they gave you that.
Okay.
Here, you're going to give me that rule. That's called the rule. Yes, sir. It should be positive. It should be -3, +4. Thanks. It should be -3, +4. It should be -3, +4. Yes. I saved this. It was supposed to change this to no, that's right. R prime, RST to R prime, S prime, T prime. So we're going to count that. So I'm going to start at R, and I'm going to count to R prime. From R to R prime is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So to go from R to R prime, I'm up 6, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left 5. Yes. That's what I'm going to put down here. Must do left, right, and up, down for your rule. Why? Because if you tell me over, I don't know which way. You must put left, right, up, down. Here, if you make a mistake on this counting, here's where it will be. You will start at R and just start with 1 instead of moving your pencil 1 space and then counting 1. Happens every year. Now, I did it for 1. I should do it for another one just to make sure I did it correctly. So I'm going to go from S to S prime. To do that, I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know the up 6 is right. Then I go left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just confirm my rule by going from 2 different places, 2 different coordinates, I counted, one to the other. That's what you're finding. You're giving me the rule. It says, write the rule. This is the rule. In the first 2, what did they do? They gave you the rule, and then you translated the figure. Could be right. Now look at this one. Here we have parallelogram BOLD, and its image is parallelogram B prime, O prime, L prime, D prime. And their locations, if you want to graph them. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what I kept saying. Yeah.
Okay, you found a typo. That describes. 1. Write the rule that describe. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I know. You're paying. I'm glad. I'm just glad you're paying attention. Who's fine? I'll give you one too because you said it on the last page. I just wasn't understanding. Okay, I'm going to go from B to B prime. Now notice, I'm starting at the black. How do I know to start at the black one? It doesn't have the tick mark. Good. So I know that's the preimage. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go down 1, 2. Then I'm going to go left 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I think that's my rule. Down 2 and left 3. But I'm going to go from O to O prime just to check it to make sure. So it's down 1, 2. So that's right. And then left 1, 2, 3. So that's right. Down 2, left 3. That's my rule. Good. Yeah. It's just counting. $298 and $299, 1 to 19, and then there's the layout for tomorrow.